It's about time. What's going on?
Rumor report. Rumor report. This is the Rumor Report.
Talk to him.
With Angela Yee on the Breakfast Club.
You know, one thing people say a lot is, how does Bobby Brown deal with everything he's had to deal with all the tragedies in his family? Well, he's on the Red Table Talk, and that episode is coming out today. It's been 5 months since the unexpected death of his 28-year-old son, Bobby Brown Jr. And in the upcoming episode, he's basically talking about addictions and controversies that have followed him for decades, the tragic death of his son, and who he thinks is responsible for the deaths of his ex-wife, Whitney Houston, and his daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, as well. Here is the teaser.
These kids today, they're trying different things. They're trying to get as high as they can possibly get. That's a real problem because they don't know what these drugs are being mixed with these days.
Right. There's been so many deaths specifically with fentanyl.
There's murderers out there right now that are creating these synthetic drugs that are killing these kids. Yeah. It's like they're committing murder.
Whew. Yeah, that's gonna be a sad one to watch.
Yeah,
but
I'm
it
gonna watch
is and the episode is entitled "An Urgent Warning from Bobby Brown."
Yeah, I stand on the fact that, you know, the best messaging is just say no, and that right there is just another reason to just say no. Like, they got GMO drugs. It's not the organic, holistic drugs that we grew up on, okay? Trust me, being able to go to, you know, facilities in other countries and do organic, pure drugs, that's a privilege. So I would encourage folks to, you know, get help with their addiction as opposed to encouraging them to find safe spaces to do things that we know is going to kill them here in America.
Just say no.
But we also know addiction is a disease, and we don't want to shame people who are struggling with addiction either. So,
I'm not. I just said we should encourage folks to get help with their addiction. That's what we should do. We should put more money into the treatment.
Right. You know, but Just Say No, that campaign's been around since before we were born, and clearly it's not working. So we got to make sure that there's all different avenues to get people help that they need.
I can't say it's not working.
I can't say it's not working.
I mean, you can see people are still using drugs. It's easy to tell people don't use drugs. People are using drugs, right?
We have to continue saying don't use drugs. You can't say, hey, use drugs, but just make sure that, no, don't use drugs.
People used to say don't smoke weed. Now weed is legalized.
It is, but it's still crazy. A lot of people who don't smoke weed, G. It's a lot of people who don't do drugs.
Right. But now weed is regulated, right? All right, now
I never heard weed killing anybody, have y'all? I never heard of somebody ODing on weed.
Imagine if you don't know what it's mixed with.
Ma'am.
What you're getting straight off the street. That's right. Refer to me as ma'am from now on. Be respectful.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you. Y'all have no understanding of nothing that goes on. All right, now Will Smith.
No, ma'am.
Does not like Georgia's controversial new voting laws, and Will Smith and Antoine Fuqua have pulled the production of their new movie, Emancipation. And that's in response to those voting laws, voter suppression laws that are happening in Georgia. So they felt compelled to move their film production work from Georgia to another state. So they're the first company that has said, the first production that has said they're not going to do something in Georgia because of this. As you know, there's been talk of protesting. They said at this moment in time, the nation is coming to terms with its history and is attempting to eliminate vestiges of institutional racism to achieve true racial justice. We cannot, in good conscience, provide economic support to a government that enacts regressive voting laws that are designed to restrict voter access. So they're out of there.
That's a tough
one. All right, now...
That is a tough one.
Why you say that?
Because I know a lot of people that work on those movie sets, and even with the baseball, the major league, I know a lot of people that work on the stadium are our community, are black folks and minorities. So the fact that they pull them from there, are we really hurting ourselves? I don't think those big brands really care. They got enough money to survive. But what's really hurting is the fact that we can't work on those movie sets. We can't be runners. We can't do food. We can't be actors or actresses. Like, that hurts us a lot more, I think.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, you can in another city.
But it just won't be Atlanta people. It won't be Georgia people.
Right.
If they move to New York, it'll be New Yorkers working. It won't be Atlanta that needs it. You know what I mean? Where it's mostly minorities in Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't have any proof to back this up, but I do think it hurts us, more than it hurts, white people. Because there's a million other industries in Georgia. Film used to be the number 2 industry in Georgia. I don't know if it still is, but it's not like white folks are going to pull out. So I feel like we are the ones who end up losing jobs and opportunities, but I don't know.
All right, now let's talk about The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Bel-Air is the new show, but it's not a reboot. During an exclusive interview with E! News, Alfonso Ribeiro describes the new series. He said it's in a reimagining of the original Fresh Prince. And he said the new series will be a whole new look at the idea. He said, we sometimes throw a lot of things into one word, one concept. A reboot would be taking the actual show and characters and bringing it back. This is a totally different show. He said, for starters, it won't be a fun-loving family sitcom. Instead, it's a dramatized take on the story told in the iconic theme song from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He said it's based on the theme song. It's completely different.
So is it a prequel? Is it when Will was living in Philly and he was getting in trouble, which caused him to be shipped to Bel-Air in the first place?
Well, what he's saying is it's a whole new show and it's based on the theme song. So I don't know, but it's a drama. So it's not even a comedy. And it's a whole different concept.
Yeah, because in the theme song, he was living in West Philadelphia. He got into a fight with some people. His mom got scared and shipped him off, which is actually dope, right? Because you would have to dig deeper. Because I'm like, just because of a fight, you got shipped off to Bel-Air? It had to be something really intense and serious to ship him all the way across the country.
Yeah, so it's basically his journey from the streets of West Philadelphia to the gated mansions of Bel-Air with a reimagined vision. They said it'll dive deeper into the inherent conflicts, emotions, and biases that were impossible to fully explore in a 30-minute sitcom format. Ready for that? All right, now DMX, his versus challenger Snoop Dogg was actually on Fallon, and he was talking about some of his memories of DMX. He talks about meeting him back in 1994 before most of the world even knew who DMX was. And here's some of the stories that he told on Fallon.
At a concert, I think it was like 94. Yeah. And then we went back to the studio after that. He brought up a story that was so deep and instrumental to our relationship. He was like, when he first met me, I was like away from him. And he was saying, what's happening? What's up? And I was like, get at me, dog. And he was like, I took that and I made that into my song, Get At Me, Dog. Because the way you got at me and said that, I was like, that's slick. So that night inspired him to create that song, Get At Me, Dog, which was one of his, biggest hood records that he put out.
Now, of course, he told that story during Versus, so maybe people didn't catch that story, but always an interesting and good one. And thank God that Versus did go down because we had a chance to see DMX and Snoop together celebrating each other, and with some good viral moments from that. Here's what he had to say about Versus.
It meant the world because it gave the world a chance to see two dogs that naturally loved each other, celebrating each other in the name of hip hop. You've seen a lot of interaction between me and him engaging in our songs. You've seen a lot of conversations and a lot of love, and we had God in the building with us that night, and that makes me feel good about DMX's transition and know that he's off to a better place and he's finally got his angel wings.
Yeah, which is why I don't understand when people say DMX didn't get love and folks waited until he died to show him love. Absolutely, positively not. He was getting love before the Verses, but the Verses absolutely provided Earl Simmons with his flowers.
X always got love, in my
100%.
opinion, and he definitely always got love up here. Absolutely.
And, and Drink Champs, he did Drink Champs this past February. And, they definitely gave him his flowers on Drink Champs. So, yes, X got love.
Yeah, DMX was an icon living, okay?
That's a
so
fact.
I don't think that people didn't show him the proper respect. Everything that he was going through, I do feel like people were super supportive and had a lot of love for DMX because he had a lot of love for people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that is your rumor report.
All right, now we got front page news next. What are we talking about?
Well, let's talk about the police officer who shot and killed Dante Wright and has now resigned. We'll tell you what her statement said and what else is going on.
All right, we'll get into that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.